Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick video on one of the latest chargers from ToolkitRC. This is the Q6AC. Now, I've looked at a number of ToolkitRC chargers in the past, but none of them have been good enough to replace the two that I use from all of the chargers that I've ever got in here for my daily use. The first one is there behind me, just in that spot. That is a D300 from Gensace, and the 4-port charger that I use when I have lots of batteries that need charging all together for a long day at the field is the SkyRC 200, a big chunky thing that's been a loyal companion for many years. However, this latest charger from ToolkitRC is a 4-port charger capable of 400 watts on AC or 1000 watts if you're running it from DC, and it looked quite unusual. So this new Q6AC will run on 400 watts if you're powering it from AC, or 1000 watts if it's DC powered. It's 220 by 113 by 82 millimeters, so very small and compact for a 4-port charger. Nice chunky weight of about 1.1 kilograms, and it has a nice 3.5-inch LCD display on the front with a 480 by 320 resolution that's nice and easy to see. Has USB ports at the side for charging, which I'm incredibly happy about because that means that I can charge things like my GoPros, my DJI controller, my goggles and things like that while I'm charging the batteries. And it also has a wireless charger at the top. So I'll unbox this and show you how it comes. Let me go through the specs. So again, this supports AC 400 watts or DC 1000 watts dual input. It can charge, discharge and balance. Where applicable, it'll support LiPo, LiHV, LiFe, lithium ion, LTO16S, nickel metal hydride, and also lead batteries too. Charge current is 250 watts max. That's 15 amps times 4 with it being a 4 charger. As it's charging, it's going to measure battery voltage, internal resistance nicely, and also balance the lithium ion packs automatically. So there's one charge selection, I'll show you that in a moment. And there is constant current and constant voltage source output. So customizable 1 to 28 volts supply and 0.5 to 15 amps constant current as well if you want to use it as a bench power supply. It can be adapted for charging consumer grade drone batteries too, and the interface is going to support multiple languages and also multi-language voice broadcasts and things with customizable voice packs, and it's also upgradable via USB. Big thing for me is it also got the USB power on the side. With the USB-A port, it's going to give you 30 watts, or the USB-C port is going to give you a maximum of 65 watts at 20 volts. So that's supporting PD, QC, PPS, AFC, FCP, SCP, PE, and SFCP. So basically all the high performance charging stuff. So let me jump on the bench and show you what it's like to actually use. So let me take you through the menu and show you what kind of options are on this thing, and then we'll stick a battery on charge and show you what the steps are. It's pretty easy and straightforward. The screen isn't touch, which I was surprised at with it being such a big screen. Got it powered on AC, so I'm going to turn it on. Tested the fan, and then we have this really nice screen. This at the moment is the dark setting. There is a light one as well. I've just changed it to dark. Personally, I prefer it, but also it's easier to kind of film. Not touch, so this is a fingerprint magnet as well, so that doesn't help. But you navigate around using this little scroll wheel here, and you change the channels 1, 2, 3, and 4, which kind of correspond to the channels around the side using this button. A long press takes you into the menu, and that allows you to change things like the input settings, where you can change the power selection type, how it's all set up, what the voltage range are. You can also change the security settings, so the maximum internal temperature, the save time in minutes, the capacity, whether or not synchronous mode is being used for different outputs, whether continuous work, what happens when the work is completed, battery start voltage, battery selection, battery buzzer, everything else. Now, this is where the theme part is, this where I've currently got it set to dark, but you can also set this battery selection on or off. You can kind of set up different little profiles for your common batteries and then choose them, and it makes it a little bit faster. I've just got that off for the moment, just for the simple demo. So let's come out of that. So let's say we're going to charge here from the front. That's going to be number 2. So we'll select number 2 and we'll briefly press enter. Then that allows us to select absolutely which port we're on. You can actually change it in here as well, or you can actually configure multiple ports, but we're actually just going to do 2. We can choose the battery type, all the usual stuff, including things like UAV packs and everything else. So we're going to pick on LiPo. We can keep the cells at auto, or we can actually select up to 6S. We keep it on auto. We can change the mode from charge, discharge and storage. Because there isn't a balance charge here, basically it's going to balance charge every single time. Discharge is going to take it down to the discharge level, and then storage is obviously going to put it in storage charge. Interestingly, in this current version, there isn't an option to, if you're using a DC power supply, to pump the discharge current into the supplied or attached battery. So we'll go for charge. We will set the end voltage. It goes down to 4.05 up to 4.25. So we'll keep it at 4.2, and then we have the charge current. Now this pack that I have here, this is one of the packs that I use quite a bit. This is a 5500, so let's whack that up to 5.5 amps and plug everything in. So I'm going to plug in, and always remember, plug in the main power first. That means any sparking is done on the big connectors. The little LED comes on. Hopefully you can see that here, like a little status light to let you know the port is in use. We'll plug in the balance tap as well on the side. Then we'll go down here and we'll click on start. And it'll confirm, say, do you want to charge to 8.4 volts, which is a 2S battery, and we'll click OK. And then we're charging. So here on the display, you can see that we have the voltage, we have the current, we have how close to a fully charged battery we are in this little line here. We then have the individual cell voltages, which is being used. Nicely, there is the option to have the live internal resistance displayed while you're charging. Love that feature. And then you have kind of a status as well. Now you can kind of choose between each of these ports to see what they're doing, but that is a really cute way to do it. And as you can see here, the internal temperature is kind of staying where it is. It's around 23.6 degrees, something like that. Currently we're using about 45 watts and supplying pulling about 1.8 amps by the sound of it. But this is going to continue now until it finishes. The LED at the front has gone red. Let's plug in another battery for a quick bit of charging. Let's go with one of these. These are these little 4S2200s. I love these. I use these in lots and lots of my planes. We're going to turn the connector on the side to XT60. Let's just plug this in. So we'll plug in the power first. We get a little blue light here on the corner to show that we have something plugged in. We'll plug in the balance tap. And we can see here that one is showing currently that we have something in there. So let's go to 1. LiPo charge. We're not going to use that. This one needs 2.2 amps. And we'll hit start. It says, do you want to charge to 16.8 volts? Click OK. And away it goes. So now we have 2 batteries charging, both with the red status LEDs at the front. We can just check on the status by just flicking between them. What I really like here is the fact that we have the percentages by the side. So we can see here that battery 1 is not doing a lot actually. It's actually, at the moment, it is 15.5 volts. It's only about 59% done. While if we go on battery 2, we can see here that we're almost at the end. We're 99%. This is probably just a balance part of the charge finishing off here. But this, as you can see, continues to be really quiet. The fan only seems to come on when you are really pushing the unit. And so far with all the testing that I've done here, it just seems to work. It gives a nice big beep at the end, and then you're kind of set. So there's a lot that I actually really like about this charger, having played with it over the past week. There's some really nice touches. First thing I like is the smaller physical size. The fact that it only takes up the size of a house brick rather than a lot more space is very welcome and means it can be stored. And the fact that when I'm powering it from AC, I can actually turn it off with a switch without unplugging the power cord is also very nice too. I love the fact that on the side there are the little sliding switches that let you choose between, on two of the ports, XT60 and XT30. That means I don't have to find an XT30 to XT60 adapter to be able to charge those batteries. And more of the smaller quads and things that I'm flying here do need that XT30 connection. I love the options in here as well that they thought about for charging other stuff while you're doing your batteries. Specifically, the fact we have a USB-A and a USB-C port, and there is the wireless charging stuff on the top. So if you have a phone or a tablet that is wireless charging, you can just plunk that down on the top and take care of that while you're doing everything else as well. I love those little attention to detail because lots of other chargers that come out omit the fact that we have so much these days that needs USB to charge it. Charge voltage seems nice and accurate in the playing that I've done here, and the unit itself is nice and quiet as you've just seen. It only seems to kick the fan on when you're really pushing it. In terms of things to be aware of, well, so far there's not a lot really. I'm kind of nitpicking a little bit. First and foremost is there isn't any kind of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth app for you to monitor it. I know some modern chargers have that. Personally, I don't miss that at all, although that's a nice little thing that you might use for half a dozen times. Myself, I tend to find that I get very bored of it, particularly as it's behind me when I'm charging batteries. Reminder, never leave a charging battery unattended. Then it means that those nice loud beeps that you get from the unit let me know that I need to go and look at something. For me, the way the display is laid out is fine, but that little kind of summary interface at the bottom with the percentage, although it is very easy to use and see exactly where you're up to, for me, I would have preferred the screen to kind of break up into different parts to look at stuff. Maybe that's coming in a future firmware. It's a very personal choice and it's slightly different from all the other chargers that I've played with here, but once you get used to it, it's okay. Balance charges on this, which is the end of the charge, seems to take quite a while. It seems to be very precise about the voltages, and that's necessarily a good thing. You can turn the balance off. I would have liked in the menu to have the ability to choose between a regular charge and a balance charge for those times when I want to get the battery up to a usable state a little bit quicker without waiting for the balance portion to finish. And the last thing it will do, it will warn you when you turn it off on the AC switch that the AC voltage is too low. It will show you briefly before the whole thing shuts down. I'm guessing that's all the capacitors discharging in the power circuitry, and as it discharges, it freaks out and then goes to sleep. Don't worry about that. That's just a standard part of the whole thing, just going back to a safe state. But a lot of those things that I've talked about, I'm being quite picky about. This is the first ToolkitRC charger that I've personally had in here. That will replace one of my trusted chargers. So I'm going to put this in the place of the ToolkitRC Q6AC, my 4-port charger, and continue to use it. And if anything changes in terms of my opinion, I will let you know here on the channel. But this is the first charger that I've had from ToolkitRC that I've been that impressed with that I want to use it as one of my own chargers for my own personal hobby and flying here. So I'll put links to everything down below, go and check it out. But ToolkitRC, this is really good. It's got all the stuff that you want from a charger and none of the stuff that you don't. The only last point I'll put here is that as I'm making this review and doing the video, I haven't yet seen the final price. Now, is it going to be worth the money? Well, I guess now you've seen the video, you know what it does. When you do see the price for this thing, you can make up your own mind. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.